All right, we are live. Hey, y'all. Hey, yo. I missed y'all. It's been a couple of weeks. I haven't been on here, but I'm coming with the thunder. We're going to have a good conversation tonight.
We are.
Yes, we are. I have an amazing guest joining me tonight, and I will introduce her in just a second. Let me share this to my page. Hold on. So, y'all come in, make yourselves comfortable. Let us know that you are here. I do this every time. Let's see. I always go through this drill of not being able to share it properly. Okay, here we go. Hey, Reggie.
Hey, Reggie.
This gonna be good. All right, I think I got it. Great. Okay, all right. So we will wait 1 minute. That's it, because I want to use all of the time that we have tonight and honor your time, because this is going to be a great discussion.
It is.
Mm-hmm. So as you're watching, feel free to put in your questions in the chat if you have any. This is going to be a very empowering and informative discussion tonight. So come with your questions. We want to educate and encourage tonight. So come on in the room. All right. My clock says 8:01, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Mine too.
So welcome, y'all, to another episode of Relationship Talks. I am your host, Siobhan Carter, the You Relationship Coach. And what that means is I am passionate about all things concerning relationships, especially the relationship that you have with yourself. And tonight, I have the pleasure of being joined by none other than the amazing Miss Belize Spivey. Woo! Woo! And so let me tell you a little bit about this amazing powerhouse here. So Belize Spivey is known as the STD Life Coach and Living Beyond Herpes Queen. She has helped millions of men and women to face the stigma of herpes simplex virus. She has a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Auburn University. Go Auburn. And a Master of Arts in Human Services Counseling with the specializing in life coaching from Liberty University. And she launched her life coaching business called Overcoming the Stigma, where she offers phone and video life coaching sessions and outbreak products and so many other services. And she's the author of the book Overcoming What Can't Be Cured, Living Beyond Herpes. And she is the mother of 2 handsome sons. So welcome, Belize. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on and talk about this subject that people do not talk about openly, but you have been grabbing that microphone and saying what you need to say about this subject. So is there anything else before we get into it that you want the people to know about you?
I'm the first Black STD Life Coach you will ever find. So if you ever see it ring, it's me.
Wow, that's amazing. And I wanted to talk about this subject because this is a subject that is personal to me. I found Belize years ago on YouTube, and I was like, who is this lady that is so just courageous and open about the fact that she has herpes? Because I was diagnosed 17 years ago, and I was devastated. I had no idea where I got it from. It was laying dormant for a while, and then all of a sudden I had an outbreak, and I'm like, what in the world? I thought my life was going to end. It was just traumatizing. And so to see you be so open about it and just free about it, and just see just how your progression and just how much you have done and the lives that you're impacting, I just wanted to have you on this platform to share with other people. So thank you for agreeing to come on tonight. So we are breaking the silence of...
I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Yes. We got to use these platforms right. We got to use them right.
Exactly. Absolutely. And so what we just had Damon share. He said a lot of people are dealing with that, and that we're courageous. So thank you, Damon, for sharing that, because it is courageous to be able to share this. So let's jump into this. So Belize, tell us, what is genital herpes and how is it transmitted? So educate us.
All right, so I don't want to say genital herpes. I'm going to break that down. We typically know of type 1 and type 2. But I want to kill that, because herpes is herpes. You can have it on your face. You can have it on your mouth, inside your mouth. You can have it on your arms like eczema. Now, sometimes y'all be thinking that's eczema on some people's arm, or they got bit by some ants. That's not what that is. I mean, I'm being real. Like, you thinking that, or something, you see stuff on people's hands, and you think, oh, they probably burnt themselves. No, that's not what that is. So it's the thing about this, herpes is herpes. If you understand chickenpox or you understand shingles, you understand herpes, because it's all under the same umbrella. They're just all a different form in a sense. Okay. I tell people type 1 and type 2 don't make a difference. In about 1960, doctors did that. They came up with this just so they can say oral, genital. It was for them. It was for more documentation for them. It wasn't something for us to really take on. We just took it all over the years, and they kind of just let us fly with it. But I don't think it's good, because at the end of the day, for so long, we've been saying, okay, cold sores and fever blisters ain't herpes. It is. And you can pass it to any other parts of the body like anything else. That's why so many kids, little kids, most people on here are like, well, I get cold sores. I don't have herpes. You do, but you didn't get it sexually. Okay, and that's the reason why I just want to say, herpes is herpes. We need to we got to get out of the, genital is an STI and oral is nothing. No, it's all something, because you can pass it regardless to a child, to your partner, to a family member with ease if you don't know what it is. That's where the issue is coming in with just dealing with genital or HSV2. It's just we thinking, that's the worst one. No, most people are getting genital herpes, not type 2, but having just genital herpes because of oral sex. Let's be honest. Who use condoms for oral sex? I want somebody to raise their hand. If you do, I want to tell you. I want to know, and I want to give you something. I'm for real. Like, I want to give you a gift or something, because I'm being honest. Most people don't. Most of us think that's the safest way to have sex, which is crazy, because you're putting your mouth on a genital part. It ain't nothing safe about that at all. But then turn around and use a condom. What's the point?
What sense does that make? Right. When we think about it, but it happens.
But let's be honest. When we get our sexual health, they didn't say use condoms, or they'll tell you, but they never made them accessible to you. They did it, and if they do, I ain't gonna lie, most of our men can't fit none of that stuff. So it's due by our men no justice that we trying to perform actions on them, and it don't fit. So it's things like that made it very hard. Or if you think about dental dams, those are hard to find. They're not sold in normal stores. You have to go to the sex store, or you have to go to your local health department or things like that to find it. So they really didn't make oral safe. They didn't want to. I don't think they ever wanted to. But I just want to say, like, herpes is herpes. If it's oral, if it's genital, if it's on your arm, if it's on your leg, if it's on your face, it's all the same thing, and it can be passed through skin-to-skin contact.
Got you. Thank you for clarifying that, so that we can be clear that herpes is herpes. So tell us a little bit about your story. When did you find out? Do you know where it came from and all of that good stuff?
All right. So interestingly, I have like two stories in one. So in 2008, I had sex with this guy. I'd known him since I was 15 years old. It was my birthday. Went to go get high. That was my first time getting high. I'm getting high. We end up having sex. Okay. We didn't use protection. Anything. I won't lie. I was only 20. I trust him. I said, I've been knowing you since I'm 15 years old. I said, I don't think you would do me no harm, which we all got to get out of that thing. Just because a person knows you and care about you doesn't mean they know their status. It's not because they're doing it on purpose. It's just simply some people just don't know their status. And we need to get out of just trusting them just because you know them. What if they don't know? What if they don't know about testing or know what's on their test? Then at the end of the day, they can't pass you something, not even knowingly. Okay. So I had sex with him. Fine. Literally a week later, he reached out to me and said, hey, do you have herpes? That's when Black Planet was out. Y'all know Black Planet is y'all. I wanted to come back. I wanted to come back. Like, it was really fun. It was. So he reached out to me. I was like, oh, heck no. I ain't got that. What's wrong with you? And now in the back of my head, I started reaching out to people that I was active with. I'm like, hey, do you have this? Everybody got tested? No, everybody was good. It didn't come up. I'm like, well, I ain't never had this come up until I met you.
Right.
I ended up getting tested. Nothing showed up. Okay. Now, 2009, I ended up meeting another guy. Me and him hit it off, whatever. We had sex. We used protected sex this time. So I'm like, I'm good. But oral, we did not. Let's keep it real. So we didn't do that. So literally, I woke up that morning and I was in a lot of pain. I was thinking, oh, it's just friction. It's tearing. Most ladies deal with that a lot, especially if he's a little larger or you're doing different positions, things like that. It can happen. It's normal. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I'm in a little pain. I ain't thinking nothing about it. But as I kept walking, I was like, nah, this hurt more than normal. I don't tore before. This is not normal. So I go back to my dorm room. I took a picture. At this time, I'm at Auburn now. So I took a picture and I was like, I looked at it. I was like, oh my God, this looked like herpes, which I didn't even know a lot, but just enough to know, your intuition don't lie. It always tell you your answer if you want it or not. It always tell you. And I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, I started crying. At that time, I had a friend who was in nursing school. So I called her. She said, yeah, that's what it sounds like it is. Things of that nature. Call my other best friend to kind of calm my nerves. Before I reached out to him, I reached out to the guy I was with. And I texted him like, hey, when the last time you been tested? Which is a little too late. Y'all, please don't text people after the fact. You late. Too late. Whatever you get, you won't get it. Or they ain't even the one who gave it to you in the first place, because nothing, I'm going to say this, nothing shows up the next morning. Nothing. Nothing. Everything takes 2 to 14 days, period. Bacteria or virus, it takes some time. So for me, since I didn't know anything about herpes, I'm like, well, he had to give it to me. But then I had to go back to that person months ago and realize, okay, it just didn't show up right away because I got tested the same week. And if anybody know anything about herpes testing, blood tests are they're horrible. They typically only want to test you based off swabbing you or seeing it, because at the end of the day, the blood tests are like this. They still haven't got to a place where they're looking for the DNA of the virus that's not so quote unquote expensive. But anyway, they're still looking for the antibodies. So with that being said, the tests, they don't like using them because they can cause false negatives, false positives, things of that nature. So they don't really like to use them. I'm a strong believer in still get tested anyway. If it's a test available, use it anyway. Don't let that be a reason. Still use it anyway. Let's be honest. HIV test wasn't always the best, but we used it anyway until they got better. So use it anyway, so you always know your status. But that's what happened. I was just like, oh my goodness. And he was so supportive. He was just like, it's all right. Let me know what happened. He checked on me and things of that nature. Nobody came back and said they had it. He was the only dude. He was the only one who said he had it, which I don't think he knew. And if anybody's probably asking, did you see anything? No. Who's having sex with people with stuff on them? I'm just being honest. Nobody's doing that. Now, if I see something, worst case scenario, and I'm sure everybody have probably seen something. If you did, you assume it was a hair bump. And we don't think twice. Because especially if you know your partner shaves, you're not going to think about it. But I'll tell you now, don't take hair bumps lightly, because it's not always what you think it is. Just because it looked like a hair bump doesn't mean that's what it is. So don't just assume that's what it is, y'all.
So one of the things that Damon brought up, it came out in court testimony for R. Kelly that it came out, or he gave it out allegedly. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the numbers. Like, there are a lot of people who have herpes, and I hate that it's such a quote unquote nasty, people still look at it as such a stigma. People don't want to talk about it. People think you're nasty and all this kind of stuff. So can you talk about that? With what are the statistics related to herpes, and just the reasons that people are so silent about it?
Okay, so the biggest thing is because we still have not received the type of backing that you've seen for anything else, like gonorrhea, chlamydia, HIV, syphilis, Hep C, A, B, and C, all get all the attention. But the reason why they get a lot of attention, I have to break this down because a lot of people don't understand why herpes seems like it's just not getting attention. It's not getting attention because it doesn't cause serious issues to other parts of your body. It doesn't shut nothing down. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't. Now, herpes can get to a place where, if many people do research, it can cause you issues on the brain, depending on, or later on in life and things like that. It can also, if an infant and a baby come in contact, it can kill babies. We have seen that many times. People say, don't be kissing on them babies. It's because it can kill an infant. It's attaching to their nerve, and a baby can't fight it. Okay. So the things like that, it's like, it's not something that happens on a regular. So it's not something that they think about. They just look like herpes is manageable. More of it deals with the skin. It comes and goes. You can deal with it and you're fine. But when a STI, or what they want to consider as an STI, something that can cause you harm or kill you, is an issue. Let's think about it. Chicken pox and shingles. They had to do something about it because we're killing folks.
Right.
It was just so severe. If herpes got to a place where it was just that severe, then they would do something. But herpes, number one, I believe is that severe for some people, and it causes them a lot of discomfort, but nobody's saying anything. And since we're not saying anything, we're not getting any support. So I think this is the reason why, you know, most people got to come out and say something, because if you want the medical industry to do anything, you got to get the fussing. You got to get the yelling. You got to get the screaming. You got to get in their face. You got to start waving flags. You got to start throwing ashes on the door, White House lawn. I mean, that's what HIV did. They started to get really crazy because they're like, people are dying. Syphilis. Listen, I don't think syphilis would have ever got any attention if it didn't happen with Tuskegee. And all that stuff, really, like, I don't think we have ever known. Syphilis is nothing to play with, y'all. It ain't. And it's still rampant. It's still rampant, okay? So it's things like that with herpes, it's just hidden. It's because, honestly, nobody really have took the energy, especially people who have it, to come out and say, you know what? HIV did it. You know, they did it with gonorrhea. They did it. We got the back, and let's just do it. Don't worry about it. Just do it for the sake of whoever comes behind us. So that's why I come in, and so many other activists are starting to come out, because at the end of it, it's so many people suffering in silence. I say this a lot. Herpes is not mental. I mean, herpes is not physical. It's mental. Literally, it will drive you into depression. It will drive you to suicide. I just heard one of my ladies in my group, her baby daddy killed himself because he found out he had genital herpes. Y'all,
see, that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because it is so emotional, especially when you're having an outbreak, because it's a reminder of what has happened. And that was probably the biggest thing that I struggled with, because it's like, God, Lee, I got to be reminded, and you don't know when you're gonna have one, and so it's so unpredictable. So you can be living your best life, and then all of a sudden, like, I can feel it coming, like my leg getting, you know, like, hello,
knocking at your leg.
This your past knocking at the door. Remember when you did that, and you just like, oh, come on, you know what I mean? And so I can understand how people struggle with it emotionally and get to the point of being suicidal. Thankfully, I didn't get to the point of being suicidal, but it was very devastating, you know. And when it comes to, so I understand. So that's another reason why I'm so grateful that you are speaking out about it, just to take the veil of shame and guilt and whatever else may be attached to people who are living with herpes, you know.
Absolutely. It's so many people. It's like, it's 1 out of 4, where I really think it's 1 out of 2 now, but you know, the stats ain't been updated just because so much going on with COVID. But literally, it's 80% of people have herpes have no clue. If you're telling me it's 1 out of 4 and then 80% don't know, we're probably like 1 to 2. They don't have no clue. So let's think about it. The don't have no clue is people who have cold sores and fevers and don't realize it's herpes, and then people who ain't never had an outbreak or don't realize it's an outbreak. It keep coming, but it's so mild that it's just like, I just think it's a hair button that come up every time I menstrual, or a dude like, man, I get a little like like a little tingling here and there, but it ain't nothing for me to like go to the doctor for. So I really want us to understand, like, anybody who's watching this who don't know anything about herpes don't always hurt. It's not always super painful. It's not always blisters and cuts. It's not always what you think it is. Stop going on Google. I want y'all to look at the date on those pictures. That does not look like that on our skin at all. And half of that stuff is not herpes. It's other conditions. It's somebody who will spread it to other parts of their body and didn't know what it was, so it don't got worse. So please,
those pictures will freak you out. And it doesn't look like that.
Listen, most stuff don't look like what they say it look like. Everybody's completely different. So I don't even like that. If y'all ain't learned nothing else about COVID, nothing's the same. When a virus come into play, it's never the same. What somebody else experienced, you may not even experience. And I hope y'all can have a very, COVID kind of put in our mindset how things could be different person to person. Okay.
Absolutely.
So with herpes, you can have cuts and blisters. Blisters can be really painful. Sometimes they ain't hurt at all.
Yeah.
Hold on. Mama, I can hear you. Okay, I'm on the. See y'all.
Hey, Ma.
I already told her, y'all. But anyway, she loud. She loud like me. So that's like she gonna carry it. But at the end of the day, y'all. But yeah, so it can be cuts, bumps, blisters. It can be just itching, burning. It can be discharged for some ladies if you keep feeling like you're getting yeast infections or bacterial vaginosis, and they're telling you no. Then that may not be what it is. It could be herpes, and you could be having an outbreak within your vagina, and you don't realize it. Okay, so it's things like that we don't realize. It could be aching legs. It can be headaches for some people if it's oral. Some people get sore throats. Some people feel tingly or itchy all over. Some people get fevers. So my whole thing, I like to say that because I don't want you always looking for cuts and bumps. Because that may not be the case. Don't always be looking for cuts or bumps on your partner. What you need to do is ask your partner, hey, do you have cold sores? Do you get fever blisters? That's the first question you want to ask because most of them dealt with it as a child. And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, it's no big deal. And you're like, okay, it's a deal. Okay, it is a deal because you want to perform oral. So this is a deal. I need to know when you have those. Just let me know when you have them and we'll be good. So we know not to do anything in that time frame. Okay?
So let me ask you this question. How did you, so you were diagnosed, you said it was 20 when you found out you had contracted
2009.
2009. So how did you get to the point of being so vocal about it? Like, what was your journey? What was your process?
Literally, I stood in my room, my dorm, and I said, this is not going to control me.
Wow. Immediately.
Like it can control y'all. It ain't going to control me. Like, I was like, no, I ain't with that. No. I was like, first of all, I was enjoying life just before this, and I ain't going to stop enjoying life because this came. Like, I said, no, it wasn't easy. I'm not going to say that like it was like, oh, gosh, she just snapped out of it. If you believe that, that's a lie. Like, nobody ever snapped out of anything. It takes time, but I made a logical decision. Not in my emotions, just I am going to deal with this and it's not going to control me. And from that point on, I had moments where I was in denial. I had moments that I didn't want to disclose. I had moments I didn't disclose. They're like, well, my doctor said ain't no big deal, so I ain't going to do it. But I felt crappy, so I stopped doing that. And I'm going to be honest. People, y'all don't know. Doctors are telling us not to tell y'all. And you're like, nuh-uh. Okay, go ask your doctor. Yeah.
So let's talk about that because some people are very afraid of sharing that they have herpes. Thankfully, I've never had any negative experiences in sharing. Most guys be like, oh, okay, that's what's up. Just
girl, look at you. I see your body in that pink. I said, oh, look at her. I thought she hiding behind that camera. Hold on.
But it's like, you know, how can people get comfortable in sharing, or what are some tips that you have for people, you know, sharing this with their partners?
The biggest thing before you disclose, you got to get comfortable with yourself. Just like you said earlier, your biggest thing is having a relationship with yourself. A lot of people desire more relationship with others than they do with themselves. You're looking for acceptance from somebody else. That is the worst thing you can do. The first thing you do is accept you, because if you accept you, like you said, them dudes didn't have no problem because you were good.
They ain't have no problems, right?
It's because you be like, well, she good, I'm good, we good, let's go.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you boo
none of them ever, to my knowledge, they never contracted it, you know? So it's like,
They didn't care because you had confidence in yourself. And they said, if she trusts herself and she don't make it a big deal, then I won't make it a big deal. And I feel like, especially from my ladies, we just go overboard. We just be having low self-esteem already. We already having a hard time finding a relationship already. We already struggling with loving ourselves already. So then when this comes, it just makes it harder. It's like, who gonna accept me? I let you know our black men don't give a flip. Okay, they will be with you anyway. I said, I don't know why y'all keep believing our black men do not want you. They do. It's just some of y'all, they just don't want to deal with you. It's not that they don't want you. They just don't want to deal with some things. You know what I mean? But they don't care. They don't care. They just want you to tell them so they know what they're getting themselves into. And I want to tell y'all now, men are not used to us being that open pertaining to this. Most of them going to look at you like you crazy. Like, you said, what? Because most people do not tell you they have an STI up front from a responsible place of saying, this is what I'm dealing with. You have a choice. Most of the time, they'll tell you after y'all have sex, or simply call you like, oh, you gave me such and such. Who you been messing with? That's how typically the conversation go. They never come from a place of, I'm telling you up front and giving you a choice. So it's going to stun anybody, woman or man. You be looking like, I can't believe you just told me that. And they're going to, number one, they're going to say, I respect you because I can't believe you told me that. And then number two, I don't know what to do with that because I never had to make a type of decision. Some people will still walk away just because they just like, I just can't believe she asked me. She told me that. I'm just stuck. Other people is like, you know what? Since you that open, why not be with you? Because if you honest about that, what else will you be? I have nothing to worry about with you. Yeah. Because I know that wasn't an easy thing, but I'm gonna be lying. Like most doctors will tell, they will tell you it's no big deal. Everybody have it.
Wow. That's so unfortunate. I do know a lot of people that have it, but I definitely disagree with that because you gotta
it's a no-go.
Yeah.
You gotta let somebody get hurt off in these streets.
Exactly. You know, so that's
people are getting hurt. Okay. People are getting hurt. People are living scared and like just because, and I'll say this, and we're hearing this a lot dealing with COVID. It's so common. Remember, y'all, they're speaking from a medical place. They don't understand. They don't realize they're talking to people. They're so used to talking to each other that they say stuff is common all the time. And it's really disrespectful to us because like common, I don't even know what that is. You know, type thing. So we got to remember when we're dealing with people in the medical industry, they're used to talking to each other. Everything common to them. Nothing's a big deal to them. Long as it ain't killing you, you good. Take your medicine. Go on about your business. Because they're just used to treating you and sending you on your way. They're not there for your mental. And I think that's the biggest thing dealing with anything that affects your genitals or anything that we say is an STI. They don't deal with our mental because it messes your head up. Even if you get anything that's curable, it messes your head up. Talk to some dudes who had gonorrhea, chlamydia. Them dudes like, I would never, ever dare get that again. They'd be like, I'm good. I'm good. Because it was traumatizing.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is traumatizing. So let's talk about the outbreaks, right? So when a person has an outbreak, how do they treat it? Because I remember years ago, like they would give me medication, but it didn't do anything. You know what I mean? And I know
I'm happy you brought that up.
Yeah, because I know
I'm going to say this. Anybody who, if you don't know anything about herpes, the first thing you'll think, you got to take medication because we automatically see it's something you can't get rid of. And we think about HIV, which you have to take a medication every single day, right? For us, we don't have to take nothing. And I know that's crazy, but we don't have to take anything. It's just that manageable. You literally can figure out what causes your outbreaks and do other things. You can change your diet, start working out. You can do supplements, things of that nature. So it's not required. Now, am I against it? Absolutely not. You do what works for you. If it gives you peace of mind, pop the pill and go on about your business. You know, type thing. I am not against it. But my whole thing is I want you to know that most doctors are not going to want to give it to you, especially if you're not having reoccurring, because at the end of the day, they're going to tell you, no, this medicine is not something you want to take long term because it can affect the kidneys. As we know, anything you take long term can affect your kidneys. So they're going to be like, if you can manage it without it, please do, because we don't want you to have no kidney issues, you know, in a long haul. But I feel like at the end of the day, if it's something you want to do, then ask them to put you on a low dosage and just monitor your kidneys every year.
Okay.
You know, make sure you're drinking your water, make sure you're doing what you need to do, and make sure you're keeping your kidneys up to par if that's just what you want to do. Now, for me, I wasn't a pill popper. I wasn't with it because I couldn't swallow them big old things at the time. They ain't as big as they used to be.
Too. The big black ones back in the day.
Yeah, they not as big as they used to. Well, depending on who you going through, but they're not as big as they used to be. They were like horse pills. But for the medication, you have to take it soon as you feel the tingling. If not, it's not going to do anything. I'll use this analogy, which one of the activists, Rich, I know, he said it's like birth control for the virus. So at the end of the day, if you don't start your birth control before you do something, the birth control possibly won't work. It's the same logic. And you got to, as soon as you feel something, you got to take it. If not, it's going to lag on because it takes a minute to kind of get to the virus and kind of trying to put everything back into control. So I'll tell anybody, if you take it, if you're only taking it during the outbreak, make sure you take it as soon as you feel it. Now, for me, I just changed my diet. I figured out what works for me. I figured out my triggers, and triggers are things that cause the outbreak to come about. So that stress is number one. And when I say stress in the body. Remember, your body is stressed before your mind realizes you're stressed. Okay. Your mind is last. So you can be under stress, and that can be dehydration. That can be lack of sleep. That could be what you're eating. It could be multiple things. It could be your medication, whatever. It could be many things that's calling your body to be stressed. And I always think it's because, you're worrying about money or children or what. It's not always that. Sometimes it's just life is happening. And you just, your body's just taking a toll. So stress is number one. Number two is friction, friction from clothes, friction from sex. So be careful, ladies, especially if you got some legs down there. Be mindful. If you put on the phone, be mindful of things of that nature, because friction can break the skin. It can just irritate the virus. Sex, make sure you just use more lube. Find a lube that works for you guys and work with your body chemistry. The next thing is certain foods, nuts, some people chocolate, some people alcohol, and some people junk food. It just depends. I'm a strong believer in it's not for everybody. You got to figure it out. Don't go out here and say, I'm not going to eat no chocolate. Girl, I eat a lot of chocolate. I ain't going to drink no alcohol. Oh, I take my drinks here and there. Okay. I love peanuts. So my whole thing is, and I have junk food here and there. So it don't affect me. You just got to know what affects you.
So what I'm hearing is you really have to be in tune with your body to know.
Very much. You got to manage it.
Yeah.
You
so
have
that
to
you can know
manage
what's triggering you, what's happening with you, because it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And I think that's another reason why doctors kind of just say go, because they know you got to learn. Right. And I wish they would kind of just say, hey, let me tell you, this is something that you have to learn. Yeah. The same way somebody tell you about eczema. Look, you got eczema. You're going to have to learn what works on your skin. Sometimes it's going to be worse than others. You got to know what trigger, or if you got psoriasis, you know what trigger your psoriasis. It's like that. If you know anybody who have that, then oh, it's about to get cold. Let me start slapping some more stuff on the kid's skin and, things like that, because you just learn what triggers a flare up. It's the same. You got to learn what trigger your flare up, which is frustrating because you're thinking with an STI, I should know what to expect. This is not a STI. Truthfully, I don't like to really say herpes is an STI, only if it's dealing with your genitals, because it doesn't function in as such. It's function more like a skin condition, more than anything.
Got you. Yeah.
It just all depends on how you want to say is what. But for so long, they've been adding herpes on the genitals just because it affects your genitals. You ain't never heard of eczema affecting your genitals and things of that nature, which I'm sure it probably do, but nobody talking about it. But at the end of the day, you don't hear certain things.
Right. And you've talked about some of the myths on your platform that are associated. Like some people feel like nobody will want them. I can't have children. I won't be able to get married. What are some of the additional lies that's associated with having herpes?
That's all a lie. I have been married. I think it's going on 4 or 5 years. I've been divorced. Well, 4, 3, something like that. It's been a long time. But anyway, so I've been married. I've been divorced. I've been in multiple relationships. I had a sex life with oral, with protected, with unprotected. I did everything. I had 2 kids. I had both of my kids after herpes, and they both came out of the birth canal. Just came right on through there with no issues. So what we think we can't do, we can do. The only reason why you don't think you can do it because you don't know nobody who have.
Got you. Yep. Basically, so it's like
that's it. That's the only reason you assume. You assume that if you got herpes, you ain't having sex, you're not in a relationship. But you see people with HIV living their best life.
The best, honey. The best.
It's because we see it. And what we don't see, we don't believe they should. Yeah. We didn't think that for HIV or AIDS for so long until we seen they live a normal life. What's the big deal? Type thing. So for us, it's the same. Until you start seeing a lot of people do it, you don't realize, it's possible. And that's what I'm telling you. All of it's possible. Thinking that you're disgusting, you're worthless, nobody wants you, you're nasty, you're promiscuous. Let me tell y'all now, you can have one partner and get herpes. You can have none. Kiss on your kid. There you go. That's it. That's all it takes is a kiss.
And you know what's interesting too? I know someone who abstained. So they had sex before, but then they went for a long period of time abstaining, and then maybe like 10 years later it came up. So it's like you just never know.
You're like, what I wait for? If that was going to happen,
I wasn't even doing that. Jesus, how I got this?
That means it was. I have ladies that happen all the time. I have ladies who are virgins. It happens all the time. Y'all would be so shocked to think versions. Now remember, we think versions for us. Versions, you had no penetration.
Right.
But most versions are getting oral. Okay, let's be honest.
Everything else but the penetration.
They're doing everything else but. Okay.
Yep.
So, and that's depending on how you consider version. I know everybody look at it a bit different, but most people who end up getting, they get it from somebody kissing somebody. They were making out with their boyfriend or whatever, and boom, or their mom or their grandma or whatever, depending on your culture, kissing is normal. You kiss each other on the cheek. That's what y'all all do.
Right.
So my whole thing is like, you can get herpes and don't have a lot of partners. For so long we hear, you got to have a lot of partners to get STIs. That is the biggest myth that sexual educators have taught. Because everybody like, I ain't a hoe. First of all, what's considered a hoe?
Right.
2, 3, 5, 10, 30. It depends on each person.
Exactly. Right.
I can't hear you. You breaking up. You froze on me. Hold on. You coming through. Hold up.
Hello?
Okay, there you go. Okay. There you go.
On Wi-Fi. So let's talk about
weather, honey. It'll be raining out of nowhere around here.
So let's talk about the services that you offer, because your desire is to help people like break the stigma associated with herpes and just live, their best life. Right. So let's talk about some of the services and the products that you have.
Absolutely. So number one, my biggest thing is to get on the phone with people, because most of the people I talk to have never talked to anybody about their status. Just for you never shared your status. You felt comfortable to do it. It's because I'm with you. It's like, come on, girl. You're fine. You don't feel ashamed. There's no shame in it to want to share, because you got somebody who's standing next to you with no shame. You tend to don't want to share stuff when you have other people make you feel bad, or saying things or laughing or making jokes, not knowing that they're making you feel ashamed of who you are. So number one, I offer coaching sessions. So you get on the phone with me. We talk for an hour, 15 minutes, depending on what it is. And we talk about your status. So you can finally get it off your chest. You can deal with emotions. If y'all only know how many people I've heard cry on the phone, I'm used to it. I said, it's all right. Cry it out, because it's the first time you ever get to talk to somebody who get it. I get it. And I think that's the biggest thing for any of us. We finally want to talk to somebody who understands. And you may have friends, and you may tell your mama or your partner, but they don't understand. They don't have it. When somebody don't understand, it just feel like you're alone. So I make sure I offer them that service so they can finally get on the phone with somebody, or even video chat, because I talk to people in other countries and help you realize that you're not by yourself.
Send people free in other countries. Let's just come on. Shoot. Now
we got to.
Let's celebrate that.
Listen, it's heavy in Jamaica. Like y'all don't be going to Jamaica and trying to get your groove back.
Okay, don't do it.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm just trying to tell you. I got a lot of clients in Jamaica. Lot. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
It's just because of lack of information that they have as well. They're same like us, no different. After that, I offer courses. So how to disclose, and also sex after. So I break that down for you guys. Like, because so many people like, I don't know how to have sex after this. Yes, sex is going to be different in your mind, but sex is really not different. It's just a mindset shift, because you now finally in a place of being responsible, which you're not used to doing. Even though you thought you was responsible, it's different now. Because you're going to ask different questions. You're going to require different things. It's going to be different. Okay. Yeah. And then how to disclose. I break down how to disclose. I even give 2 like sample ways to disclose to partners or old partners, because it's all right to tell a new person, but when you got to tell your current girlfriend or current boyfriend or husband, it's a different story. Okay. It's a little bit harder, because you're like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm cheating. Right. And let me tell y'all, they're not always cheating, y'all.
Okay.
Now, if y'all got a history of cheating, then they cheated. Okay. But if there's no history of cheating, then that person could have had it prior, or y'all could have gave it to each other and didn't know it. So I like to say that, because I know so many relationships feel like it's ruined, but it's just because y'all think somebody cheated. Because that's the first assumption when an STI come up, that somebody cheated. We need to get out of that. That's not true. That's because somebody didn't know their test results, and somebody didn't ask, which y'all ain't asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
that you said that, because a lot of times people be like, oh, if you get BV, that means they've been with somebody, or if you get, herpes, but you just never know.
BV?
It's not so,
Now, if you get trichomoniasis, he cheated. If you got
trichomoniasis, listen, they said if you got BV, that means that the dude been with somebody else and messing up your pH. That people are out there spreading that kind of untruth.
BV can come from so much stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. BV, you can get off. A lot of people don't realize you can get BV and yeast infection just from your partner's sperm, and his it just don't clash. So, ladies, if you consistently, it's because he need to put on a condom. Okay, period. You're like, babe, I love you. This ain't gonna work because I ain't gonna keep smelling funky for you. Okay? I'm not gonna smell funky for you. But it's sometimes because guys' pH is higher than ours. It throws it off so much. But no, I never heard that. But now trichomoniasis, if somebody come back and they said they cheated, y'all. I love you dearly. Yeah, you can get it. You can get it from a toilet. You can get it from towels. But that ain't the main reason. It's skin to skin as well. So don't let nobody go, well, no, he lied. He cheated. She lied. They cheated. Right. Period. So don't let nobody fool you with the trichomoniasis thing. They got that from somebody. Okay? What's the next thing?
What other services?
So courses. Okay, courses, and then products. So I love my products, y'all. Like, it was God sent. I'm gonna say that because
I was so happy that you had some, because I ordered some and I was like, okay, the next time I have one, I'm gonna see.
Girl, girl, you got that soap. Use that soap anyway. That soap is the bomb. That's the only thing I use. Like, I use the soap every single day. My girl, if I use something else, she be like, I got a problem. Like, she be acting funny if I don't use the soap, because the soap is the bomb. All my products are natural, handmade. I do it myself here. Okay. Because at the end of the day, I realized, number one, for us, we got to have products that work for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, Summer's Eve don't work for us, y'all. A breather don't always work for us, y'all, because our skin is different, our body is different. I'm not against any of it, but it just don't always work for us. So I was like, number one, we need products with our face on it, in a sense, with our touch on it, to realize I'm thinking about you. Yes. And I understand you. I'm not ashamed of what I'm doing. And all my products are external. I do have one product that's internal, and that's a tea to help you relax and boost your immune system. So if you're looking for a tea to relax and boost your immune system, is the bomb. I'll let you know my products are not just for herpes. That's who I target. But boy, I have met some people. The girl put the speed up cream on her baby eczema, and it cleared up. Really? So my whole thing is, these products are the bomb. If you got bacterial vaginosis or yeast infection, use that soap. It be gone.
Really? Go ahead. Come on now, Belize. I love this.
You're listening. So the products are the bomb. They are the bomb.
I want to pause and say thank you so much, Damon, for what you're saying. Just, the true journalism right here. You can save someone's life. And then he also said people commit suicide over stuff like this. So I'm just...
all time.
I can't thank you enough for the fact that you are courageous and open and have a platform and have, the bullhorn and just really getting on there and talking about it, because I know so many people are being liberated because of what you're doing. So thank you. I appreciate that, Damon.
Y'all have no clue. I wish I could show my inbox. I wish I could show my DMs. I wish I could show my emails. And I wish people would get open, because it's so many of us, and they look just like you. It's that girl you hitting on in the club. It's that dude that you slobbing over on Instagram. It be them.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, fine. Yeah. Woo! It be the ones that you least expect. Even like Damon brought up the whole thing with R. Kelly. Nobody would think R. Kelly would have had it, but he did.
And then the thing with Usher, I don't know if he, it was talking about.
He ain't never listened. Usher said his PR good. They said shut up.
I know that's right.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm mad about that R. Kelly thing in a sense, just because of how his doctor just threw all his stuff in. I don't know who paid to get his medical information, because that's against the law. That's against that man HIPAA. So I hope I'm not backing what he did. I just don't like that was against his HIPAA, because it ain't no way that your personal doctor was able to speak on against you.
Right.
They couldn't do that. Now the thing is, they can bring stuff forth, because at the end of the day, it's dealing with people. So that may be the only way that the lawyer said, well, the lady's saying that they got it from, so then, he can still they have the ability to kind of force him to do it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell y'all now, R. Kelly would have got away with that if he didn't have no sexual crimes. I'm telling y'all now. The only reason it's sticking is because he in New York, It's a misdemeanor because it's sexual crimes. But if this was not a sexual crime, he would have walked away and all them girls would just had herpes. I'm just going. And y'all can be mad all you want to, but at the end of the day, herpes lack testing. You're not getting tested for herpes. Don't think you are. You're not.
No, you're not. You're absolutely not.
You're not getting tested for it. Half of y'all don't even look at your test results. You just like positive, you like negative, negative, negative. Oh, cool. Out of that piece. That's all you're looking for. You're not looking for anything. And you know, we'll call you if it's something. You be like, it's a week. They ain't called.
Right.
It's
yeah. So let's talk about that prevention. What are some ways if people have not or are not aware that they have, what are some ways that you can prevent from contracting herpes?
Hold on, y'all. Let me turn my phone. My bad.
No worries.
Okay. But the number one way to prevent herpes is knowing your own status.
Okay.
If you're going to go into this, I don't care what you do or who you do, you got to know your own status. And we used to hear this all the time, especially when we were growing up. Wrap it up and know your status. They don't do that like they used to now. But knowing your status was everything. Because if you go in and something happened, you know where it came from and you're not feeling bad. It's just like, okay, you got it. Okay. That means you didn't get tested prior or you didn't know. My Lord.
And y'all give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you're enjoying this conversation. Let us see some hearts and thumbs up. We really appreciate you tuning in for this discussion.
Yeah, bear with me. My neighbor calling me, y'all. I hope she all right. Right. So, so the biggest thing is just knowing your status. And when I say knowing your status, I mean going in and asking the doctors to test you for herpes. You will have a fight, but I got y'all now. I can now, literally, I just signed up. So now you can go somewhere and get your test nationwide. Really? It's only $69 for you to get tested for herpes. I want every single person. I'm going to make sure to give you the information. I want to make sure every single one of you know your status. Because if you don't know your status, you can't tell nobody they gave you nothing.
Right. Not a nothing. No.
And I'll tell you this. On top of knowing your status, make sure you know your partner's status, y'all. Have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I know, I'm going to be real. Let's be real. The conversation is not a comfortable conversation. It don't supposed to be. It don't supposed to be a comfortable conversation. But you shouldn't be comfortable putting your legs above your head, but not comfortable with asking a question.
Come on.
Why are you comfortable with one but not the other? They go hand in hand. The only way you should be comfortable is that I know what's going on here. That's when the comfort should come in. Not comfort just with the just doing the act. You have to know. And I want us all to get comfortable with that because at the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do. I'm not here to tell you what not to do, but I am telling you, you need to do this. That's knowing your status, and that's on top of asking your partner for this status. When the last time you had sex? They ain't going to tell you the truth. I'll let y'all know now because they're going to like, you're going to judge me. Okay, when the last time you put your mouth on somebody?
Right, that part, yeah.
Okay, did you get tested from that last person? And I want to say that too, because a lot of us don't understand. Your test is none and void from the last person you've been with. That means for my ladies and men who keep going back to your baby daddy, you need to get tested, and your baby mama, you need to go get tested every single time, and because you know your baby daddy ain't crap, and you know your baby mama was cheating on you. What are you keep going back for? Sure. I love y'all. Stop being comfortable. They are not to be trusted.
Yeah.
Just because they had your child, they are not a reason to be trusted. You need to know their status as well. Even your little flings, know their status.
Yeah. So
nobody
what about
you can't do it? Just know.
How would you encourage those people who are afraid of knowing their status? Like they don't even
get over it, or just sit down somewhere.
Right.
Hold your legs on up and be scared. Because my whole thing is, you being scared is not being responsible. But you want to do what you want to do, but you don't want to be responsible. Then why do you want somebody else to be responsible for you? It's selfish.
That's so good.
Selfish.
Wow.
It's selfish. Because if I bring you something, you're gonna be mad at me, but you ain't know your status before me. Right. But now, girl, you're supposed to be straight. You trust me too much. I don't know why.
Yep.
Know your own status. Get over it or do nothing.
Yeah.
It's all right to sit down and chill and be scary, sitting there in the corner and minding your own business and doing yourself. That's fine. It's safe.
Yeah. Right.
Just don't add nobody else in there until you want to be safe with another human being.
That part.
We are grown.
If you scared, go to church. Like she said, grow up.
Listen, listen. I ain't even gonna say go to church because sometimes they ain't gonna even tell you to go get tested. I'm gonna tell you for somebody who a disciple, go get tested because I don't want to hear that crap. Coming in here crying and whining and all over the pulpit crying. Get your butt up and go get your test results.
Because you still gotta get tested after that, right?
You get all that snot and nose running and sweating, and you still got to deal with them test results. So with that being said, let's go down here and let me help you with your test results, and I'll deal with you later, and I'll be your sister later. But right now, we're going to not act like you didn't have sex yesterday. Let's go ahead and go on down there.
Right.
I ain't that one, okay? I'm not it.
I love it. Listen, I love it. So before we go tonight, what words of encouragement would you give to those who are really suffering in silence, who have been afraid to talk about this openly or share this with somebody who may be watching this quietly, don't want to say anything, but they are, they have been, they contracted herpes maybe recently or years ago. What words of encouragement would you give to them?
You're not alone. That's what you've been thinking the whole time. You're looking at two women who just told you have. You are not alone.
Raising my hand.
Most of us just think we're alone. When you realize you're not alone, it's time to do some work. Soon as you realize you're not alone, now you're accountable to get up. Before you didn't know you can get up. Now you know you can get up. Now you have the resources. Now you have the support. Now use it. That's all I want to tell you. You're not alone no more.
That's it. And can you give us the numbers again? What was these statistics associated with those who have contracted herpes?
80% of people don't know, and between they change it. It's one in 6 or 1 to 4.
1 in 6 or 1 to 4. Okay.
But let's be honest. A lot of us got at least 4 friends. Okay.
Exactly. I'm telling you, it's a lot of people. I know a lot of people that have it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, clearly I do. I know millions of people, y'all.
People, right?
I know a lot of people who have herpes. A lot. Yeah. You'll be surprised. This is one last thing I want to say to my individuals who do not have herpes or not aware of your status. Watch what you say. You have no clue who have it. It could be your mama. So good. Yes. It could be your daddy. It could be your little sister. It could be your girl that you also over heels with. And she's just trying to figure out when to tell you. All those jokes have to die.
They do.
Because you don't know who have it. You don't know who you're offending. You have no clue. Yeah. So I'll tell us, let's get out of making jokes of STIs, because let me tell you something. Your day can be any day.
Come on. As long as you out here in these streets doing what you're doing, or even if you're not out here in these streets, you just never know. You never.
It could be your husband.
Absolutely.
Your wife. It's happening in marriages. It's happening in long-term relationships. Most of my clients are in relationships, y'all.
Wow.
They're not doing what you think. Oh, no, she's dealing with everybody who just out there. That's a lie. And if you believe that, you foolish too. Because you think if somebody say that, and I know the people who do say that, you think you exempt. You better stop it. You are not exempt. And just because you was able to get rid of chlamydia and gonorrhea, because half the time people who talk like that had gonorrhea, chlamydia a couple of times. Who are you? Who are you? That's the only STD I ever had in my life. I ain't had nothing prior. It chose me. Okay.
Right.
So just because you can get rid of something doesn't make you better than nobody. I really want people to stop that.
Yeah.
Well, I was able to get rid of it. Oh, but how many times did you have it?
Right.
I'm just saying. Keeping getting it over and over, let me know that you're not being responsible.
Yeah.
You ain't learned from your behaviors. You just want to get the shot in your booty and go about your business.
Right.
No, you need to change your behaviors because you keep being in the same situation over and over. And that's for somebody, because somebody thinking that won't happen to me.
Exactly.
Girl, sit down and be quiet.
And that's what I'm hoping people will get from this conversation, whether you are in the same boat as us or not. Educate yourself on it so that you can talk, with sense about it. You know what I mean? And stop hurting people without even knowing it, because you are jokingly or being flippant about it. And you just never know that somebody is really struggling with this. Because like we said, it can really impact you emotionally, and so, you're mental. So just just be responsible. Is basically
Please, because some of these dudes are ghosting y'all. They ain't ghosting y'all because they don't like you. They ghosting y'all because they don't want to tell you.
Right. Wow. Ain't that something? So how can people follow you, Belize, if they want to get more information about you, if they want to, schedule some calls with you? How can people find you? Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. Okay.
How can people find you?
Whew, okay, y'all. That was just, I just received some news. But you can find me on Instagram. So Coach Belize on Instagram. And then that's the best way to find me. That's the bread and butter. That's where I'm always at. I have lives there, everything there. So Coach Belize is your best one. And then after that, you can go to my website for all my products at www.stdlifecoach.com. The way you hear it is the way it is. STDLifeCoach.com.
Coach.com. I'm putting it in the chat so that people can see.
And that's Coach Belize.
Okay, and Coach Belize. All right.
Or you can put STD Life Coach and I'll pop up. Or you can put Belize and I'll pop up. You'll see my face. I'll be like this.
Absolutely right.
I'll be present.
I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and educating us and just sharing. And thank y'all for tuning in and for your questions and comments. We really appreciate it. So yeah, this was good. So thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, love. I'm going to send you over that information about the testing, because I really want all of us to get tested. Absolutely. They won't fight you. You pay for it, you get tested, and you get your results in like 1 or 2 days.
I love that. It's so important to know your status, everybody. So thank you. All right. So until next time, good night.
Bye.